Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to the Goal Hikers channel. Today my topic is edema and it has been taken from the hemodynamic disorders thromboembolism and shock. So let's start. So these are the outlines of my topic, that what is edema, what distribution of body water, formation and drainage of edema, causes of edema, types of edema based on protein concentration, and other types of edema. So, first of all, what is edema? Edema is the accumulation of the excess interstitial fluid within the body tissues or the interstitial spaces. These spaces surround the cells. Let's see how water in our body is distributed. Approximately 60% of our body weight is water. In, in it, 40% water is in the intracellular compartment, means inside the cells, and 20% of water is in extracellular compartment. In it, 15% is the interstitial fluid, that fluid whose excess causes the edema, and 5% of the fluid is the plasma fluid. Formation and drainage of edema, the procedure by which edema fluid is formed. You can see figure here, this is the capillary bed, and from left side arteries are attached with the capillary bed through arteriole, and from other side veins are attached through venule with the capillary bed. Now the movement of fluid from vessels into the tissue spaces is governed by two opposing forces, and those are hydrostatic pressure and the colloid osmotic pressure. Now, the hydrostatic pressure at the arteriolar end of the capillary bed is 35 mm mercury, and the plasma colloid osmotic pressure is 20 to 25 mm mercury. So, due to the increased hydrostatic pressure, water will move from vessels into the tissue spaces. Now, the remaining water that will move towards the venular end would have decreased hydrostatic pressure and increased colloid osmotic pressure, due to which the fluid that was lost at the arteriolar end into the tissue spaces will move back into the blood at the venular end, while the remaining excess edema fluid would be removed by lymphatics and then will be drained back into the bloodstream through thoracic duct. Now, if there is lymphatic obstruction, abnormally increased hydrostatic pressure, or greatly decreased osmotic pressure, then edema will occur. So, here are the causes of the edema: increased hydrostatic pressure, sodium and water retention, reduced osmotic pressure, and lymphatic obstruction. Increased hydrostatic pressure and the retention of the sodium and water occurs in the heart failure. Now you can see in the figure, here in the heart failure, there is the decreased cardiac output, and thus there is a low blood supply to the kidneys. So kidneys will activate renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. Then aldosterone will cause the retention of the sodium along with water, and in this way the blood volume will increase, and also venous return to the heart. But as heart is frail, it cannot maintain the cardiac output. So increase of the blood volume and the hydrostatic pressure simultaneously will lead to the edema. The other cause of the edema is the reduced osmotic pressure. Plasma osmotic pressure is due to the protein concentration, especially albumin, because it accounts for almost half of the total plasma protein. Again, look at the figure. Here are certain conditions in which the plasma protein is reduced and thus plasma osmotic pressure is also reduced. So, edema will occur. And those conditions are malnutrition, hepatic synthesis, hepatic diseases like cirrhosis, and the nephrotic syndrome. In hepatic diseases like cirrhosis, in their decreased albumin synthesis occur, so plasma osmotic pressure decreases. In the nephrotic syndrome, there is the glomerular capillaries become leaky, so loss of albumin occur in urine. So these all conditions in which plasma osmotic pressure decreases, water will move from vessels into the tissue spaces and it will cause edema. The other cause of edema is lymphatic obstruction. As I already told you that the fluid that had moved from the arteriolar end of capillaries into the tissue spaces, little bit of it is taken by the lymph vessels and drained back into the blood through thoracic duct. So in case if there is a lymphatic obstruction due to the inflammatory or the neoplastic condition, then interstitial fluid will not return back into the blood and lymphoedema will occur. So here are two types of edema based on protein concentration. One is the transudate edema and the other one is exudate. In the transudate edema, there is the low protein concentration and it occurs due to the increased hydrostatic pressure or decreased colloid osmotic pressure. In the specific gravity of the edema fluid in the transudate is less than 1.012. The other type of edema is the exudate edema. It is protein rich. It has high concentration of proteins. It occurs due to the increased vascular permeability occurring in the inflammation, so the vessels become leaky and the more fluid will pass out from the vessels. Its specific gravity is greater than 1.02. So here are the other types of edema. Subcutaneous edema. It is diffused but usually occur in parts of the body which are present at greatest distance below the head, like in legs during standing position or in sacrum during lying down position. When subcutaneous edema occur in lower parts of the body, such as lower limb or in sacrum, it is referred to as dependent edema because distribution of edema is influenced by gravity. Subcutaneous edema is the sign of the cardiac and renal diseases. It also impairs wound healing in case if this edema is in greater amount. Second one is the pitting edema. When we apply finger pressure over the edematous subcutaneous tissue, then interstitial fluid is displaced and finger-like depression is produced. This is called as a pitting edema. Third one is the periorbital edema. This takes place in eyelid due to the renal dysfunction or nephrotic syndrome. Because in nephrotic syndrome, glomerular capillaries become leaky and in this way loss of the albumin occur in urine. Thus, osmotic pressure is reduced in vessel will occur, which will cause fluid to move from vessels into the interstitial spaces, and thus edema will occur in eyelids as well as generalized. Fourth one is the pulmonary edema. This takes place in the lungs, and the lungs often become increased 2 to 3 times of their normal weight. Pulmonary edema mostly occur in the setting of the left ventricular failure, but it may also occur in renal failure, acute respiratory distress syndrome, and inflammatory and the infectious disorder of the lungs. This can cause death by interfering with the normal ventilatory function and by impeding the oxygen diffusion, as well as edema fluid creates favorable environment for infections. Brain edema. This could be generalized and localized in tumor or abscess.